Relationships, your money, your business, your family. Those are some of the significant ones that are going to help build your body and your base. If you commit to that for a year, your life will change entirely. Guys, welcome back. Dane here. Are you tired, boys, of hitting that gym day after day after day and not seeing the results? I know I was. What if I told you, literally, just a few simple tweaks along the way that are proven that will significantly increase your chance for muscle growth? So stick around, because in this video, that's exactly what I'm addressing. 7 pieces of the puzzle that'll help you unlock your muscle growth. Let's go. Number 1 is strength training. If you follow me at all, you know that this is the basis around my body, hypertrophy style training. What I did initially was I focused on compound exercises, squats, deadlifts, chest press, incline press, rows. Those are some of the significant ones that are going to help build your body and your base. These exercises not only are meant for building you, but they're meant for stimulating the growth you need. In the early stages of muscle activation, this is critical. You're going to use these muscles in almost every other movement. So we want to build them up properly. This is an area where we want to train, ideally, each muscle group twice per week. That's what I do. So you do 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on if you're a 6-day split guy. If you're working on a 3 or 4 day split, then you want to make sure that that program is baking in enough volume within those 3 or 4 days to stimulate the growth you're looking for in those body parts. So that's number 1, which is strength training. Number 2 is the style of strength training. You want to make sure that when you're in there, boys, that you're progressively overloading. What does that mean? Progressive overload means you're either doing more reps than you did last time, you're doing more weights than you did last time, you're challenging yourself each and every time you go into the gym to do a little bit more. So we have to really understand our baseline when we start. Hey, what's a weight that I can pick that I always like to do, which is about 80% of my max rep? That's a number that I try to identify early in my training. So if I'm going in a chest, let's just say it's a squat, right? And I look at the squat and I say, okay, squat, I could probably max squat, let's use simple numbers here, 200 pounds. So if I could squat 200 pounds max, 80% of that is 160. Great. Can I rep 160 for 5 or 6 times? Let's focus there. All right, 160 5 times this week, 165 the following week for 3 reps. That's an example. These are always designed specifically for the individual, but that is an example of progressive overload. In order to grow your muscle, it is absolutely crucial that you do this style of training and you keep overloading the muscle to keep putting stress on it so that it will grow for you. When you do this, it leads to number 3, which is the third part of the puzzle, which is proper nutrition. You could train until the cows come home, boys, but if you're not fueling your body to make sure that the nutrients get into the bloodstream to go and recover the muscle so that the muscle can grow, you're wasting your time, okay? You're just telling you the facts. What you need to be doing is training specifically on a regular schedule and then feeding those muscles on a regular schedule. The feeding is where all the magic happens. We want to make sure that we're putting in nutrients that are dense, they're high in macro and micronutrients to make sure that we get good absorption of those. We want good absorption because the more that we absorb into our blood, the more that blood goes to the muscle and releases those nutrients to then help grow the muscle. So it's really critical that when we're doing this style of training that we put the right style of nutrition with it. Now, it depends on your lifestyle. It depends on your activity. It depends on your age. Everybody's macros are a little bit different. There are generalities out there. There are a lot of programs that'll sell cookie cutter plans where if you're in between 2,000 and 2,500 calories, you could follow this plan, right? But I'm more of the approach of be very direct and very pinpointed and then calibrate along the way. So for me, my balance right now, 45 protein, 35 carbs, 20% fat. But that changes throughout the year. Right now, I'm more of in a cutting phase, reducing body fat and tightening up from the winter. And I'm complementing that with the right style of training. So what you want to be doing is focusing on a good balance of proteins, of carbs, and of fats. And you want to mix that ratio depending on your lifestyle, your output, your age, and your goals. That'll vary. Hopefully that's making sense. Number 4 is the macronutrient balance that you have within your nutrition. You need to make sure that you're getting sufficient enough of protein, carbs, and fats to fuel your workouts, keep your hormones in balance, make sure your digestion is on point, make sure that you're not having any reactions to the foods that you're putting in, and then you want to be able to calibrate that as often as possible to make sure that you're seeing improvements every couple of weeks. So the macronutrient balance is really the secret sauce here. You have to have the proper nutrition, but without the proper ratios, it's like a scientist working in the lab. You're just not going to get it right. All right? So the 4th piece is really critical there. Piece number 5 is recovery. A lot of my experience, I undervalued this for sure. And then I made an investment in myself so that I made sure that I understood how much output I was putting out, how I was recovering, and how well my body was sleeping, and the quality of that sleep, because I started to realize this is when muscle was built. Muscle is not built in the gym. Muscle is built when you sleep, when you rest. That's when we build muscle. That's when we burn fat. So if I'm not optimizing my sleep and my rest, then I'm not recovering properly. And if I'm not recovering properly, I can't grow more muscle tissue. So if we really want to grow muscle, we have to make sure that the training is on point, it's complemented with the right style of nutrients, the balance of those nutrients supports the goal that we're after, and then we're resting and recovering properly to give all of that, all those other pieces of the puzzle a chance to give us what we want on the outside, which is that aesthetic look. When you start recovering and adding that piece of the puzzle, it helps you manage stress better, it keeps your hormones in balance better, your energy output is better, your attitude is better. Lots of things go with more recovery and more rest outside of just muscle growth, although that is a significant piece to it. And number 6, for me, it's consistency and patience. I had a saying when I got into this. I knew that I wanted to build a very dense muscular body, and I knew that I could lose a bunch of weight and get some abs and be there, but I really wanted to focus on building my body out over multiple years. I knew it was going to take multiple years to add the type of muscle tissue that I wanted to my frame. So I was patient. However, I had urgency. And the way that I explain it best is macro patience, micro urgency. Macro patience meaning you understand the work that you're doing every day and the plan that you have in place is pulling you closer to your goal. When you have that plan in place and you're taking the action, the belief kicks in. You believe that the action is leading to the result. So you stay motivated, you stay in the grind. Okay? And when you're consistent with that, that builds momentum. But it all comes from the patience of knowing I will not wake up tomorrow and look like a Greek god. But we get up every day and we execute our meal. We execute our training. We execute our cardio. We make sure that we're getting enough recovery. And we execute all those things with urgency, right? With high priority. And you stroke enough of those together over 30, 60, 90 days, 1 year, 2 years. And one day you wake up and there it is. The muscles are there, the density is there, the body is filled in, and you're like, holy shit, I'm here. But it takes that patience, it takes that vision, and it also takes the consistency of showing up every day for yourself, which is really the best part for me. I love every day that I get a chance to show up for myself, to give myself the ability to love myself first. Therefore, I can turn around and love the world and love my family and love the people the way they need to be loved on. And I can tell you, before I got back into bodybuilding as a dad, that was not how I was operating. I was waking up grumpy. I was behind the 8 ball. I did not really care selflessly about other people. And I knew it was because my attitude sucked and because I was insecure. And that was the fact of it. So I needed to make sure that, hey, I wanted to make sure that my actions daily were making me feel good about where I was at the present moment, and 2, were giving me the belief and conviction and confidence that I was getting to where I wanted to go. And I was doing all the right things that I controlled. So that is important. That's where the patience and the consistency comes in. The last piece of the puzzle is supplementation. Okay, supplementation is critical, dude. As you age 35 and above, the joints start getting a little bit sore, the recovery takes a little bit longer. The thing I see the most is digestion is off in men over 35, right? Their sleep is poor, their skin is actually starting to be have some sort of irritability or some sort of eczema type things. Like all these things start happening, and because of the things that we're putting in our body, essentially, they're causing inflammation. That's the underlying thing, and that inflammation is causing autoimmune issues, and they're showing up in the form of poor digestion, bad skin, bad hair, bad sleep, bad attitude, low energy, cloudiness, all of that. Right? And so how we can get around that is supplementation. Now there's the over-the-counter supplementation, which things like fish oil and a multivitamin, some basic things that we need to be taking to get started, but then you tweak and optimize. And as a man over 35, there's lots of ways you can optimize, and then you could look at other things like hormones or peptides, but supplementation is absolutely a critical piece of this puzzle, especially as we age. The more we age and get older, the more supplementation we need to help us ensure that we're optimizing internally so that the thing shows up on the outside that we're working for externally. So when you put these 7 pieces of the puzzle together, the muscle growth begins to happen automatically. If you can just think about this, right? Okay, my new life. I have a strength training plan that is ensuring I'm constantly stressing the muscle and I'm putting the ability to, I'm giving it a chance to grow. How am I doing that? I'm overloading it progressively every single week. Then I'm making sure that I'm feeding it with the proper nutrients. Within those nutrients, I'm making sure that the proper distribution of nutrients goes to the body, the proper amount of protein, the proper amount of carbs, the proper amount of fat. Once we have that breakdown, we want to make sure that now we give our body the chance to recover. As we recover, we get the workout and the fuel now set in place to help build that muscle for us, and it does the work we need it to do. But it will not do that work if we do not feed it the right things. If we do 1 and 2 and then we go in and have a Friday night bender with alcohol, we throw it all away, guys, and I've done that so many times, and that's why the muscle growth didn't happen. I just sat there every weekend giving away my gains, because when my body needed the recovery the most to give me the muscle growth, I went and threw a fucking neurotoxin in there and completely stopped all the production of muscle being built and fat being burned, and now my body's in defense mode. So you have to get smarter with those decisions, and as you get smarter with those decisions, you'll realize, okay, I'm going to be consistent with my approach. I'm going to be patient with it. I'm going to add supplementation, and I'm going to make sure every 3 hours I'm feeding my body what it needs, or every 6 hours, depending on your lifestyle. But all 7 of these pieces, my man, will take a dad bod and over a short period of time turn it in to as close to a Greek god as possible. And if you commit to that 100%, it's going to happen within a 90-day period. If you commit to that 80%, it'll happen pretty closely in a 90-day period. If you commit to that for a year, your life will change entirely. And that's a promise. So if this helped you at all, or you feel like I missed a piece of the puzzle, honestly, guys, I want to know, what am I missing here? In the comments, you guys have been really active. I'd love to know what I'm missing. But I think from my experience, when I look at my journey, these are all the pieces of the puzzle, and you got to get them right. If you need help with one of these areas, all of these areas, or getting direction, having a vision for your health and fitness, having a plan for your health and fitness, not one that just allows you to lose 10 pounds. I'm not that guy. There are a lot of people on the internet that you can hire to lose 10 pounds for your next, vacation. I'm the guy that you come to when you want to change your life. You want to change your habits, you want to change your life, and you recognize health and fitness and feeding and fueling your mind, your body, and your soul is priority number 1. Let me get you right there. The rest of your life will start to take care of itself. Your relationships, your money, your business, your family, all of it stems from the ability to get yourself right. So if you need some help, guys, on this, I know that I certainly did. I was lost for a long time, and it took me a lot longer than it probably needed to because I waited so long. And this is exactly why I started Dad Bods. I want to be here for the guys that are watching this all the way to the end. If you are still here in this video, there is a reason for that. do yourself a favor and book a call with me. Let's chat for 15 minutes. Either way, I don't need you to stroke a check through the phone. That's not what I'm about. I want to get to know you. I want to know where you're at. I want to know where you want to be. I want to know what hurdles you're up against. And I want to give you strategic and tactical solutions that you can implement the very next day to get yourself going, whether you hire me or not. That's my promise. So if this resonates with you guys, please drop a comment or book a call. And most importantly, I'd love the ability to have you guys share the channel, hit the like and follow if you're not already. Thank you so much. I'll be posting the next one here in the next couple of days. I'm out. Ha!